Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to Alphacraft. So excited, so excited. Okay, so today I have decided we're going to be working on something. Before we get into what we're going to be working on, you can see I have been all these right here. These are here so I can grow large trees. So that's why I've got these here. They're not going to stay here, of course. I will be doing custom trees. I think I talked a little bit about this last episode. I will be doing some custom trees, but since I need to build a whole forest, it's not realistic for me to build custom trees all the time. Not to mention, oh, this one grew and I don't like it. I don't like it, so I'm going to cut it down and try again. But whenever you grow the large oak trees, I mean, they're pretty much custom. It's not, it's just whenever you grow these large oaks, I mean, they kind of take on that like custom look because they just kind of go all over the place. There are some like, well, there's one right there. There's also two right here. These just kind of grew up straight, but that's fine. I mean, I want some variation, so I've got these other ones that are kind of like all over the place. And then this one, you know, and I'm hanging lanterns on most of these, so we kind of have a really, really nice like ambient light throughout the village. It's not going to be 100% mob proof, probably. I mean, I could stick glowstone underneath the like the leaves in places and stuff like that. Over here, I built this little bridge here. It's nothing fancy. It's pretty much our style of little like wood walkways. But so I was wanting to work on the house at spawn, and we are going to be doing that soon. But I'm not going to push myself into building something until I get inspiration for it. Some kind of an idea. I've been trying to think of something. I actually spent a while over there the other day. Well, I guess it was yesterday. I spent a while over there and I was looking at it and I was like, what do I want to do here? And kind of looking at the buildings around me. But I haven't decided on anything yet, so I'm not going to push into that until I have some kind of inspiration, because otherwise it kind of ends up just, you know, it doesn't end up as good, basically. And then I was thinking about doing just a time-lapse build of a few small projects. We're going to have an episode coming up, or two episodes coming up. One's going to be just a time-lapse build for some of the road work. So I can kind of do some of that on camera. I don't plan on doing a whole lot of road work on camera because we have a lot of roads to run, and it's, you know, it's pretty standard. Just mix these things, maybe speckle some mushrooms in. But we're also going to be doing a time-lapse build for small projects, maybe like 3 in a single episode, where we build just some smaller things, because kind of like to the essence of this whale, except not as small. Not quite as small as the whale, but just little things that we're going to be building. So that'll be coming up here soon. I actually thought about starting that today, but I had some really good ideas for the next building that we're going to build. So I just want to move on into that. Move straight into that. So we got the mine done. And we're also going to be doing a time-lapse build here very, very soon of us working in the mine and making this area look nice. So that will be coming up. I mean, I've dug it out. This is just like random digging, basically. And we still have some more random digging, so we'll probably do some of that as a time-lapse thing on camera. But originally, when I was working on this building, I thought about having the smelting area inside of here. And then I was like, well, no, I'm going to have it in the mine. And I've changed my mind once again, but I think this will be the last time. What we're going to be working on today is the forge area. And I have some ideas. I did go ahead and build this out. This is basically kind of a little over half of a 15 by 15 circle. I went ahead and just built this out just to get an idea, and so that's what this is. And we're going to be building off from this. And my idea is we're going to have this forge. And a lot of old medieval style blacksmiths had this, it would either be like circular or square section that's attached to the house where the forge is at, right? And so that's what this is going to be, except it's going to be more of like a shop front in our case. I mean, there will still be some smelting stuff and kind of a counter and all that. But our actual smelting we'll probably build some kind of like an automated smelter system, so we can dump stuff into chests, then mine carts take it to, you know, the furnace, just like one of those automatic furnace systems where you have a lot of smelting that can happen just automatically. We'll probably do something to that effect. But today we're going to be framing this in, so let's go ahead and get on with it. You guys seem to like the framing episode for this building, so we're going to do it kind of in the same fashion. We're going to frame this kind of on camera and just kind of talk about some things. I might do some speed building depending on where we're at. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I've got this little semicircle section. This is actually going to be fairly open once the building is done. And then kind of what I'm thinking is that we're just going to bring this, instead of finishing out the circle, we're actually just going to bring this straight on back, and we'll probably clear out just a little bit of this dirt here, because of course I don't want to do any major changes to the landscape. So we'll just bring this straight back and just kind of get a general feel for the base of the building, and then we'll start framing in the roof parts. And then I think we'll probably do it like this, just so it looks a little bit more rounded than just a straight edge. And then we're going to bring this back through, and yeah, we'll just bring this straight through like that so that it lines up here. And then what we're going to do is this part here, this is 5 wide. That'll be good. That'll be good. And I kind of want this, the way this building's laid out, I kind of want it to fit into, where's this going to line up with this tree? Am I going to have to trim this tree or work around it? I might just cut this tree down. This one was actually just spawned here. You can see I've been clearing out a lot of trees. Oh, this one, I'm going to go fix this real quick. Yeah, I'll probably just cut this tree down. We're going to go ahead and build this bottom section out. I'm going to go ahead and bring the wall out here. We'll go ahead and just remove this cobble block for now. Say to here, this is going to be the core of the building. And then what I'll do, it's going to be a longer building, but it's going to be more narrow in parts. So, and then I think what we're going to do is build this back. Yeah, this tree is going to have to go entirely. We'll bring this back, say 4 more. And then we'll bring this cobblestone. I'm kind of framing this one a little bit differently than whenever I framed this one, and that's because this one was pretty easy to kind of work with the roof. This one's going to be kind of wild roof. It's going to be a little bit different, so we're going to try to do this a little bit differently. So that's going to be the width of this, which I think is pretty good. And we're going to bring this out. That's 15. I think that's probably good. And then we'll just bring this out just to get a generalized shape. And that's what we're looking at. It's a very, very big building, actually. But it's kind of a lot. The main reason I think it's big is because it has this big attachment section over here. So, okay. So now what we're going to do is, let's see. I'm going to figure out where the middle of this is, and I want to make sure that the middle kind of lines up nicely with the back end. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter, because the front of this roof, like from here onwards, it's going to be kind of rounded, whereas the back end of this roof is going to be a little bit different. I think this is good. Okay, so let's go ahead and just bring this up as if it was a pillar. That's probably good. I should probably go make some scaffolding. That's 7. It may have to go up a little bit taller. And let me go get some, no, wait, I got this. But I figured we'd go ahead and tackle another build, because like the miner's house only took me, like real lifetime only took me about 2 days. This building I do expect it to take probably a little bit longer, but that's fine. Okay, so this would be 4 tall. Honestly, I don't even think it needs to be that tall. I think it needs to be like 3 tall. Okay. And then we would have the, yeah, we'll say right here. Should be good. It's not going to be quite 3 blocks tall, because I am going to use the slab down there. But it's basically just big enough that we can walk underneath. Well, no, that might be okay. That might be alright. So we'll go ahead and just bring this up. See where it connects up at. So this would be the spot. So that's kind of, yeah, what we'd be looking at. Okay, so that kind of gives us a general shape for the front. Kind of this, kind of looks like one of the alien like ruins right now, from Oblivion. It's kind of what it reminds me of. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, just get this to line up, and we're going to go ahead and basically just run a support. As you can probably tell, the roofing on this one's going to be a whole lot different. I didn't want to go with another A-frame building because we just built an A-frame. That's not to say we won't have more A-frames, but not at the moment. Okay, so it's going to come back pretty much just straight like that, and then what we'll probably do is we will probably have somewhat of an A-frame shape on this back end, and then just have kind of the rounded front. More so just A-frame on this side, because this side of the roof is actually going to link into the roof on the house. It's kind of a part that just kind of sticks out, sort of, and kind of have this like nice high roof, high ceiling. And then we'll have, of course, a chimney probably that comes up somewheres about in here. So that should be good. Okay, so now what we need to do, which that means I'm going to have to kind of curve this roof out and connect it in. Oh, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. Okay, now I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and just bring this up. That's going to show that, you know, that's where this building is that connects onto this building, because they're going to be almost kind of two different buildings, but I kind of want the roofs to kind of mesh well together. But I don't think that I'm going to base the roof on this building at all off of this section, because I want it to feel more like an addition. So we're just going to basically build the roof out on this how we want it to be, and then we'll just mesh the roofs together. We're going to make it work. We're going to just slam them together and make it work, which I think we should be able to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the general shape for this building. And since we've kind of got this elevation difference, I think it's important that we're going to have multiple floors, because this would have to at least be the ground or the floor for maybe a second layer, I think, or second floor, because we would be entering this building probably way down here or maybe here. So let's go ahead and just place out some pillars. We'll start with the corner pillars. Those are pretty easy to do. And I think we'll have one here. Let me go ahead and cut this tree down too. It needs to go. I did go ahead and put the rest of the corner pillars up, and I brought this actually up forward by one. So it actually kind of lines up like that. This is the kind of the pillar for this main structure, and there's not that just one block gap. Not to mention it puts me in an uneven number through here. I just realized that my numbering was even. So that works out better. I like having uneven numbers, especially on these kind of buildings, so we can have, you know, a pillar that kind of runs through the middle, which is what we're going to be doing here. So let's go ahead and figure out where that's going to be. Okay, it would be right here. Interesting, but it is a separate structure, and this is kind of an add-on, or the house was added on one or the other. So it doesn't matter that the pillar is off center for the rest of this. I don't think so. And I don't know if I want the pillar to plug into that. Probably not. I don't think. No. But we're going to bring it up to about the same height. Let me think, because we would have this roof. Let's go ahead and just bring this back. Oh. Still part of that tree that hasn't despawned yet. Like, wait a second, what am I hitting way up here? Alright, let's go ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and just bring this all the way back like that for right now. Just for now. And then we'll go ahead and just bring a pillar here so we can get a general feel for this. If you couldn't tell, we're just kind of winging this again too. Once again, we're just kind of winging it. And then let me go ahead and bring this up one more. Doesn't this just look fancy? I think it's going to look really, really cool. I love this little attachment. And I think this house is going to look really, really good once we're done. Now, I will say that the pillar... Ooh, let me think. because I kind of want a tall building, and right now it's actually not any taller. It's actually almost the same height as that building over there, it looks like. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, let's go ahead and just, tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and just do this so we can get a feel for the dimensions so far. And I think, I don't know what I think. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I think it's going to work out good. It's going to be another really weird building, but I mean, we're building fantasy buildings, so something's just not right if they aren't weird looking, you know? Okay, so I'm building a box right now. A really fancy cobblestone box is what we're building. Okay, and I think if we fill all this in with cobblestone, we'll be good. It'll be done. Whole building will be done. Now, I think this is good for like a general idea of the dimensions. So this section here is going to come up to equal heights with this little add-on section. And then what we'll do, I mean, I could, you know what I could do? I'd lose a little bit of space, but if I push this forward by one, the back end of this wall, this would perfectly line up, and so the frame would kind of run into this and be the back support for this add-on. I think I like that idea more so than having it kind of lopsided, because that way I can use the framing off of this, run it straight across, and it would just work really, really well. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at. Now, that's not to say that we won't still use some of the area behind it, maybe put it in like a little cellar or something like that, but I think that's going to be good. And I think that's still plenty of space for kind of the shop. Oh, you know what I could do is actually have the, well, I don't know, that'd be kind of weird. I don't know. We're just going to go with it. There's something about winging it building that I really, really enjoy. I really, really enjoy. So that means we can connect this over now. And so that would make kind of the main support that kind of runs between the building and this little area. And then what I'm thinking is, which I'm not going to build that right this second, but kind of what I'm thinking is, since we have such a tall roof on this forge, when we put the second floor on, which let's say the second floor maybe, I mean, I might clear out some of this dirt, so maybe the second floor is going to sit right there, let's pretend. That would be, so that's going to be, what, 3 blocks tall? Or maybe have this set a little bit lower. So it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, actually, we might have this set down. Now this back end's probably going to be a change in elevation, so you step up into the rooms on the first floor, which I think would work out. But if the second floor is set here, then we would have 4 tall here to work with. Or actually, I mean, really, we could actually, because we can adjust the height of this. This is just a rough idea. But we're going to have maybe a balcony that steps out here, like above the little walkway that goes into the house, or the little entrance to the house. Have maybe a balcony that can overlook the forge area from the house itself, which I think would be pretty cool. We'll figure all this out whenever we do the fleshing part, but just a general shape. Okay, let me go sleep, and let me do some thinking on kind of how I want to do the roof, so we can get like a general frame for that in. And I will be back in just a second. I love these with shaders. This little forest looks so good. Okay, but for over here, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to just keep this roof section that's kind of running through there, and we're just going to bring this up and plug it in. So this side of the building is just going to be kind of slanted, almost like an A-frame shape, but just this side. That side, not so much. So we'll go ahead and just plug that in. Okay, right now I'm just kind of planning this out. I know it looks terrible right now, but I think I have some ideas. Once we get to the fleshing out stage, I think it's going to make more sense. Because right now this looks wonky as can be. And I do think, I mean, this makes our last building look like, I don't know. Like whenever we were in the planning stage, it makes it look like normal almost. But I do kind of like this because it kind of gives it that angled bit where the house is going to come in that roof section. Oh man, I think it's going to look... no, it looks so bad to you guys probably, but I think it's going to look so good once it's done. It's just going to be a lot of work. Okay, so I do think right here, I'm thinking about having a segment, let's see, maybe come over to, we'll say here, and then we'll come over, let's 7 between it. Yeah, we're going to do that. And so we're going to have just a little thing that kind of comes out, maybe a little bit farther than that, so it comes up a little bit closer to the road. And this is going to be where we enter. And it's not going to be as tall as I think the rest of the structure. Or better yet, let's just really make this go crazy. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess we're going to do a double door on the front. I thought about having like 2 singles. I think just a double door would be good. And I should probably remove this tree and this tree for now. Not try to grow these because we're going to have this super big forge / forge master's house. So that's why it's so big. It's not just a house. It's not just a forge. It's both. Okay, there we go. So if we brought it out like that, and then we could still keep this really nice tree here that we've already got, and kind of do something weird like that. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, I think so. I think so. So we kind of have like this entrance space where you first walk into the house. It's not going to have, it's probably not going to have a second floor, so it's going to have a roof of its own based on where we put everything. And that means actually we could enter, like we could have the door be like right here. And then just a little small deck. It doesn't need a big balcony or anything like, I mean a big like front porch or nothing like that. It just needs like a small little step up deck. Kind of how we did over there for the entrance. Probably a little bit bigger though, I think. This thing can be big. But that over there is pretty big too. Okay, I was doing some thinking and I think we are going to have this share a little bit of roof. Like a little bit of roof real estate, let's say. And so what we'll do is like from here, from like here over, this is going to be part of the second floor, have a second floor bit that connects on. And then the very, very little entrance section is going to have its own like separate roof. Okay, there we go. And I think what I'm going to do on this very top part is I'm going to make this part kind of be A-framey. So let me go ahead and just run that. It's not the whole building, of course. This building's so wild. The whole building's not going to be a big A-frame, but there is going to be some A-frames within it, you know, to some degree, I suppose. Okay, so there we go. And this actually comes up, it's even. So this comes up to a perfect little point up here, which is fine. That's good. And then we'll say this comes back. Oops. We'll say this comes back like 4 blocks like that, and then it would just plug into these. Let's see. Okay, there we go. This building's gonna be big, but maybe the forge / blacksmith area, metal refining place. Maybe he's rich or something. He's got a big house. But like I said, it's 2 buildings in one, to be fair. So okay, so that's there. And then what I think we're going to do is we're going to have this kind of come back a little bit more onto this section of roof. And then what we'll do is we'll have this be, and you know what, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring this all the way to the back of the house, in fact, just as it is. Okay, so something like this. And then what we could do is we could actually just slant this bit of roof, and I'm thinking leave this edge here. We're still going to have this little bit of roof. I'm not going to do it all right in this second, and I'm not going to carry the cobblestone over. But we could, I'll carry it over a little ways. to like right there, just so you guys get an idea. What we'll have here is we're going to have a couple bits of flat space up here, and then the roof would actually connect in here. And I think that's got it for this side over here. And then just for reference, let me go ahead and bring this little bit up so we can kind of see the shape of it. Let's step down here. And then on this side, since this side is going to be kind of flat, we're actually going to have probably a little roof section that comes out, say, right here. And we kind of have like a little overhang that kind of sticks out here. Maybe put some stuff underneath it. We'll do something with it. But we're going to have a little overhang here that kind of sticks out to give this side a little bit more character. Of course, we have to remember that we do have kind of a hill going on here. So it's probably just going to run, you know, maybe across this end of it. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of run out over like that and then have maybe clear out a little bit of this dirt and have a little bit of stuff, maybe some kind of little storage shed or something to that effect, setting right there. So I think that'll be good. Or I guess technically we could have the mine carts come up here and build a little mine shed where the mine carts come from the mine all the way over to here, like under the ground. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'll do that, but that's just a thought, a passing thought. Okay, so now we just have to shape up the back and the center. And then we'll pretty much have this framed in a general idea of what we're going to do. And this is going to be interesting. I think what we're going to do actually is for the roof here, we're going to have it just kind of come up. We're going to kind of have it follow this. So what we'll do is we'll come over. We're going to have this be a flat section. You'll actually be able to step out onto this back end. And what we'll probably do is make the front end might make the front end kind of a different material than the back. I don't know. That's just kind of a thought. And I've got to shape up this little corner here, but we'll do that in just a second. So, because I don't want this to be like just flat. But we're going to do that in just a moment. But what we'll do is we'll have, this roof is going to kind of come back like so. And we'll kind of do the same thing sort of as what we did on the other side to some degree. And we'll say this roof bit comes out to, well, that's where the center pillar is. We'll bring the roof out, say, 2 past where the pillar is, where the end of the house pillar is. So it's going to come out like 2 blocks onto this little addition, let's say. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and build this down like we were going to do. So this little bit of roof is going to overhang off of this, which I think will be cool because we're going to do, we're going to make it work. It's going to be the coolest. I think it's going to be really, really cool once it's done. It looks so weird. It's so weird with just the framing up. Okay, let me pop over there. Let me go get some more stairs. Let's take a look at it from back here. Oh, yeah, I like this. And, of course, it looks all sorts of lopsided because I've done some of the roofing, like where the roof's going to kind of shape up. I haven't done it on this side, so it looks all lopsided. I'm just kind of getting a general feel and idea for the build. It is going to be big. Like, if you're looking over here, it's a pretty big structure. But I think it's going to be cool once it's done. I think so. And it's funny because I just stopped and I said, man, that's really huge for a forge. But you have to remember the forge is actually just this little end of the building. This is a house. Just the forge is attached. So you kind of have to remember it and look at it that way. It's not just one ginormous super forge like... But, yeah, so you kind of have to think about it that way. That building was a little bit easier because it's as simple as just building an A-frame was all it was. This building is a little bit more intricate, but it's going to, I think, look really, really cool and very, very unique. I've had a lot of fun with this, if you couldn't tell. Trying to figure out how we're going to do all of this is interesting. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I've kind of shaped this up, as you can see. And this little bit kind of just plugs in there, and this maybe overhangs. Right now I've got it overhanging like 1 block, but we might make it overhang a little bit more. Also, since this kind of flattens out, I also thought about this, which I'm going to give it some thought. It'd be kind of crazy. But have this kind of come out maybe 5 or 6 blocks and have it held up by pillars and kind of connect into a little roadway that basically kind of connects up to a little roadway that's up here more kind of on top of the hill. Because there will be stuff up here, actually. There's actually going to be over here, there's going to be kind of a watchtower, which we're going to be building that in one of the coming episodes because we need a watchtower here because this is like one of the main roads that kind of come into the town. So it's kind of important that we do have kind of a lookout tower to make sure there's no pillagers coming in to raid us, right? So this is kind of what I'm thinking. This is wild, right? Of course, it's just a frame, just a structure to kind of give us an idea. So there's a lot of bits missing, so it all doesn't kind of line up as well as it will. I think it's going to look cool. And then over here, what I'm thinking about for bringing the roof in is not that cobblestone, but we'll kind of bring this over and kind of have an angled roof, and I might actually have the forge come out, or the house, well, the forge and the house, probably the forge, probably the forge, have a little space back here maybe for storage. It could just be a storage closet or something like that. And then I don't know, we might have the house use it. I don't know, just kind of as an idea. Basically, we're just placing a bunch of blocks and we're making it work, and just kind of, like I said, kind of winging it, which I love winging it building. It's just fun. It's so much fun. If you couldn't tell, I'm having a blast with this. I don't know, I'm going to give it some thought. I could bring this out a little bit more and just have another A-frame over here, or another balcony. There's a couple things that I could do there. And I'm not for sure which one I want to do. It kind of all depends. I'm going to give it some thought and figure out how segregated do I actually want this to feel with the forge and the house bit. Do I want it to feel like it's something totally separate, or more a part of the house? Because I think I want it to feel like part of the house. You know, if you did this, you could double this as I think this would make for a really cool greenhouse too. Like if you glass that in and had it as attached to this house, that's kind of what it makes me think of, like just seeing the framing. This could make an awesome greenhouse addition to a house, I think. I could just make this the greenhouse. Just the apothecary's house, because I am planning on making an apothecary. Oh, now I'm tempted to make this the apothecary house and just have like greenhouses. And you'll notice this actually is going to look lopsided, but I like the asymmetry going on, to be perfectly honest. This ended up being a whole lot bigger than I was originally anticipating. And now I'm just like super thinking about, because I started just adding things. Like I had like a general shape. This ended up being a bit taller than I was originally planning. And probably with the forge, I don't know. I don't know if I want this to be the forge or the apothecary. This big, like super impressive building would just be pretty cool as an apothecary, I think. With like a greenhouse field over there. I don't know. I'm going to have to turn it over in my head. Like what to do. Because I don't know. I really like the shape of this. It looks a lot better, I think, than when we were first putting it together and it looked like a semicircle attached to a box. You know, a big long box. But I think the shape is actually showing up now. I'm glad, because I was just kind of throwing things together. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. But I've got to decide, do I want this to be the building that I originally planned on? And that's the apothecary. Or do I want it, the forge. See, I think it's like meant to be an apothecary building. Because I could always, the forge doesn't have to be here. This could be the apothecary. And have like it be for like brewing and growing like netherwort and mushrooms and stuff like that. And maybe have the forge even be back over here or something, you know, closer to the mine. Maybe that would be okay. Okay, well, this building, whatever it ends up being, is pretty well framed in. We are going to have a little roof section that comes out right here. But I don't feel like we really have to frame that in, because the general shape is here, and I can work from that and see what I want to do there. So I think that's good. I think that's what I set out to do. And I had a lot of fun. This is going to be an interesting building. I know there's a lot of cobble clutter through here. But yeah, so anyways, I think I'm going to end this episode out here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. And I think this building is promising. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. I'll come over here where there's a little bit more light. Be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.